Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're just going to give a few minutes so everybody can join us. Please retweet this space so people can join us. We're just going to give it about 5 minutes so everybody can join us. So just relax, and we're going to have a great conversation. I'm very excited about tonight. All right. We actually got a few people that joined in. Ray, good evening, sir. Hello. How are you?
What up? I'm so excited.
Hi, Ron.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm here to be with you guys, answer questions, and just ride these waves with you. So thanks for opening up the space for us.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure having everyone here. I think we're gonna have a great conversation tonight. Very enlightening. I'm really looking forward to hear everything that you guys are gonna tell us.
Right on. Yeah, you know how it is, enlightenment. That's what it's all about. So every conversation is going to drop some gold nuggets and some gems. So always keep an eye out for what's happening. You're going to see more announcements from the project as the days and weeks move on. We're gathering traction. The team is building. It's cohesive. Creating partnerships. It's beautiful. Imagine, right? It's very ambitious. Putting our arms around a lot of things, and here we are in the beautiful Cardano community. So thanks for having us. And I see Amanda here, and Kevin, and Dean, and Jane, Macroman. Thanks so much. Even Will, right on. Thanks for showing up and being curious. That's what it's all about.
100%. Yeah, I appreciate you all being here. We have a couple other people that we're waiting on to come in, though.
So I just want to let everybody know that this is going to be an open space, as every other space that we do. Feel free to request to be a speaker if you would like to ask a question. We're gonna make sure that everybody will get the mic and ask the question, and make sure that all the questions are gonna be answered tonight. I'm very excited, to be honest. So we kick it off. I'm just gonna ask the first classic question. Just tell us a little bit about what Mandala Metaverse is. Are we living in it right now? What's going on?
Right on. I'm going to pass that on if John is here. John, if you want to speak to that, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And I'm sure a few of us have a few things to say, but I'd like to hear what you have to say to that.
John, welcome, sir.
Oh, thank you, Chef, and thank you, Ray and Ron, and Kevin and I are both here, actually.
Hey, Chef. Thank you, Chef, for having us.
Hey, it's nice hearing from you guys. Thanks for being here.
Oh yeah, it's our pleasure, and we also would like to welcome everybody into the space, and being in the Cardano community, we're happy to be here. So Mandala Metaverse, what is it? We don't love the word metaverse because it's being used for different virtual worlds and different experiences, but it's a shorthand way of something that people understand now as the worlds that we're building. So for us, the Mandala Metaverse is really a 360 experience or a multimedia experience, whether it's comic books, NFTs, Discord channel, Twitter Spaces, and eventually television and different types of games. In our case, it's going to be a mobile game and also an Unreal Engine large-scale, massively multiplayer game. For us, all of that combined is the experience of being together and sharing space, but most importantly, that ties back into the real world. So we see the metaverse, particularly the Mandala Metaverse, as an enlightenment simulator because it serves as a liminal space or a multi-dimensional, multimedia space for us all to be together and be in our lives and creating the world in the way that we co-create it to be best for everybody and the planet.
There's always a mic drop after that kind of depth. You know, it's awesome. It's ambitious and it's beautiful at the same time. And of course, you know, here we are. We're in the trenches, and you know, especially as SPOs, you know, we're bare metal, right? We're plugging into the wall. We're making sure we have internet. We're making sure that there is a sustainable infrastructure, right? There's a community around something that is so ambitious, because you know. I'd like to talk more about my own personal experience, but I also really want to keep this open. I really want to hear from others here in the community that are curious and have questions and have been following Mandala, maybe have an NFT already. So I'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, like I said in the beginning, we are open for questions anytime. I just want to make sure that we have a nice you know, make it all nice and concise. And if anybody here would like to start off with some questions, please feel free to request to be a speaker. Ray and Ron, if I may ask you, how, I know you guys are SPOs and you're running your own pools, and you have your communities. How did you get involved with Mandala?
I'll start with that one. Actually, I had the opportunity of being introduced to Kevin and John when actually from James at Gimbal Labs, and then I met them at the Wyoming Cardano Summit. And when I learned more about the project, it literally just blew my mind like over and over, and it hit like so hard on like my core like principles and like why I was drawn to the Cardano community like in the first place, that I was like, okay, I'm with this. I want to be part of this. What else can I do? How can I help with this? And so I just got kind of pulled into it, and it's just like the law of attraction, I guess.
Yeah, I can speak to mine. You know, it came through the enthusiasm and love of Ron. He had already engaged. One of the things I loved about the Mandala project is that they engaged us at the infrastructure level. They engaged us at the stake operator level, right? The people who are operating, running the network. I think it's because they see and understand that the long-term success for their project also depends on the partnerships that they create with the various blockchains that they're working with. And so if you can create positive partnerships that are mutually beneficial for people who are running the blockchain and also incentivize them and their communities to participate in this, then you have this win-win. And that's the way Mandala approached us. So that was a really good first move. And so now we're expanding this conversation to include as much of the community as possible, because it is so ambitious. And there are these incredible partnerships that we've created and are continuously creating, it seems. The more people hear about this, they're like, okay, there's something here, right? How do we work together? So that's you know, I was fortunate enough to meet these guys on the ground at the Wyoming Summit with Ron, and some of these guys were here and they were in a circle, and I remember the sun was shining. I walked out of the summit for a break and some water, and these guys were meeting in a circle, and they see my grow shirt, they see the mandala, they see the logo. They're like, whoa, what's going on, man? There's got to be some connection. So I started listening, and what I heard was that a circle had already formed and had been together for many years, working in the Hollywood industry and in entertainment industry, and all these different platforms are coming together here. You got quite the team that is very ambitiously bringing this potential for us to this community, and they're working with different communities. Right? They're like, Cardano's awesome, very heart-centered, smart people. We got something really awesome happening with the centralization in Cardano and the DAOs and all the future potentials in what we're building. And then we're like, Avalanche is looking good, Polkadot is looking good. All these guys have something that we can use to work together. And so one of the things I love about this project is not only is it bringing a game space, not only is it building an enlightenment simulator, it's good for SPOs, it's good for the community, but it's also starting to take our focus and our attention on, hey, like, how do I build like Milkometa and Flint Wallet, right? How do I start to exchange value in my ecosystem with the value that I see other people have in others, right? So that's one of the cool things about this project. It's also putting a lot of time and energy into making sure that we're not just here in Cardano, that we are talking to multiple ecosystems and communities, because, I mean, think about, the ambition of the project. When you really sit down and you look at the blueprint and you go, what is happening here? Part of what's happening here is this tremendous faith in humanity, this love for this potential that we have as a community to make sure that no matter what happens, our future always has a place in this world that is beautiful and healthy and peaceful and vital. That there's a place for our children to grow up and be healthy and learn and as be souls here in this incredible world. So those places are very important. And, in some ways you can say that they seem to be shrinking and disappearing quickly. So part of what Mandala is doing is making sure that at the very least, the next 7 generations have a world worth living in and for. Right? That is the true vision of the project. At the end of the day, it's like, when I put my head on the pillow, what am I living for? What am I dying for? Why am I here for? I'm here for my kids. I'm here for other people's kids. I'm here for our community. I'm here for our future. So this is, for me, the biggest, and it happened within the last couple of days, right? I looked on the wall, the puzzle was kind of dark. I don't really have a clear picture, but I know I have some of the pieces. And all of a sudden I saw, this isn't just some game I'm plugging into with a VR headset one day, or augmented reality, or I'm on a mobile app. Those are tools that I'm using to reach a place of awareness so that I can actually navigate the world that is asking me to show up and help bring it to the best possible place it can be for ourselves and for our kids. So I'm like, wow, this is a very different kind of game. This isn't, not only is this fun and enriching and enlightening and bringing all this cool imagery and the fun kind of stuff that we experience in gameplay now, but it has a real world coordinate system that wants to make an impact in the world around us. So this is the game to end all games. This is the one that brings us to our next place in the evolution of humanity. I really do see it that way, and I'm open to hearing from others too.
Well, hey, this is Kevin here. I'll jump in on that. Thank you, Ray, because a couple things you touched on are important to me and why I'm involved with this as well. So, I've worked in the industry from gaming to films to television to web stuff, Web 1.0, Web 2.0, now Web 3.0. I hate those numbers. But, I've worked on a lot of projects over my career in many different platforms. And my dream was always to go, how do you tell a story across all these platforms and weave them together? But more importantly, I was more interested in doing something that meant something, right? It left an impact. And I've worked on a couple projects that did, but I just felt like they were the wrong message or the wrong impact, possibly. I'm all for entertaining people. That's cool, but it's got to have some deeper sort of long-lasting meaning to get, especially the way the world's turning right now, right? And when I met John and these guys, sort of same thing happened. I went, wait a second, they have a project that wants to do everything I want to do on all the platforms I've worked on and have dreamed of doing this. And now here we are, right? We actually have the technology to do this. And technology is not bad. It's actually a really good thing as long as it's used in a way that can transform the space, the world, and the humanity around us. So that's what, I believe we can do this. And I know a lot of people always say, oh, you're doing all these huge things and it's so immense, this project's gigantic. And yet I've done a piece of a project in all of these platforms before. And I know there's a way to bring them all together. I've seen it over and over. And, that part doesn't scare me. What scares me is, can we really nail in on the message here and get people to interact in a way that's, going to transform the world? And that is now not a fear at all. We've met so many amazing people in so many different spaces in this new world of technology and crypto and, just sort of where this is all going next. And I'm absolutely convinced we can do this on a really grand scale with an audience. So yeah, I just wanted to add that because you nailed a lot of those pieces, Ray, for me. And that's something that we're in the process of doing right now. Like you said, we're talking to these different platforms. We're talking to all these different tech companies. We're working with game companies. We're bringing a lot of the people that I've worked with in the past up to date on a lot of this stuff. A lot of the Hollywood people I worked with, and I'm talking fairly large scale names and people and projects, they're all trying to figure this new space out as well. So we're going to bring a lot of them to this space and do amazing things. So yeah.
Yeah, that's I realized when I went through when I grabbed some of the NFTs, some of the sovereigns, and I saw the comic link and even the NFT link itself, there's all these clues in there, and I started following them and learning more about Mandala's history and seeing that this is something in the making for a while. This isn't just some little thing that just popped up suddenly in the last year. Like some of the people that are here with Mandala and the team, they've been doing this for years. And I think at some point, what I see, the way that I interpret that helps me to trust, right? I need that still. I'm human. I need to trust that I'm not wasting my time on something, that there's value here, that there's something beautiful and hopeful here. And I see people who have just pretty much given their lives to it. And that really helps me. It inspires me to do the same. So that's why I'm here, I'm speaking for it, and I'm supporting and trying to hold this forum and let you guys know that there's something really beautiful here with incredible potential, and it needs a team. It needs good people to surround it and work with it and play with it to make it work and happen. So that's what this is all about.
Hey, just for I know the answer to this already, but just for the audience, do John or Kevin want to speak to like why they were drawn to like the Cardano community and maybe talk a little bit about like our vision for interoperability between chains?
Is that to us? Do you want me to talk about that?
Yes, if you could.
Yeah. So, when I don't even know how to sort of explain the beginning of it, but John and I do a lot of homework and research on everything, and every company we'd like to work with, we do a deep dive. Technology, we do a deep dive. And when we started to think about, it's a long story I won't get into, but when it was time to sort of move away from Warner Brothers, who was part of this project for a number of years, let's say, we were thinking, because look, I'm an independent filmmaker, I'm an independent producer on projects, and I thought we've got to do this independently. So we started to investigate the crypto space, and we just really started to research it a lot. And John started to get heavy into the backstory and ethos and sort of a temperament and the positive world-changing parts of Cardano. And I think we looked at it for a while, but we just decided we need to go to that stampede, man. So, and we had talked to one or two people before. I think Gimbal Labs was somebody early on we spoke with, and a few other people. And so when we arrived at the stampede, you already heard the stories, Ron and Ray and other people we bumped into there, Ikigai, but there was a bunch of people, and we just couldn't get over the sort of amazing intelligence combined with a deep respect and desire to change humanity. And I've been working in this space for a long time, and I'd say space meaning internet and gaming, and I've kind of seen a couple pivotal moments where that thing might happen, and we saw it with the internet the first time. We all thought, oh, something's going to change here, and I'll be honest, it did. We're all talking to each other on a Twitter space on a phone right now. But the thing is, it changed, and we had a small opening in a window to maybe do really good. And I got to say, the corporations, and somehow it went a different direction. They took control, and we've lost I think that moment in time. This one's different between blockchain, smart contracts, and let's call it Web3 because everybody else does. We have a great opportunity here, and that was being talked about and spoken about in such a unique way at the Cardano Stampede. And, it was really cool to hear those people together in one place and not online and not, in chat rooms and, Discord and this and that. And then, trolls popping in and stuff. But to see this group of people there in person talking about this, that was a huge, huge factor.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that that in addition to that, the principle of sovereignty is key to any kind of enlightenment, the individual and the power of the individual. In addition to collaboration, and so like unity and diversity, we were hearing that signal coming from Cardano and going, yeah, as a decentralized movement with technology and also mounting consciousness on top of that potentially and resonating with these hyper intelligent doers, people that are actually rolling their sleeves up, like Ray was saying, and running the network, that we need to band together. We need to be sovereign individuals, and we need to work together because there's a centralizing force that has been on this planet for as long as any of us in generations can remember. And if we're going to create a future that is inclusive for the individual and also for, unity and diversity, we need to work with the other chains, and we need to work with one another. And how does that scale? How does that self-organize? How does that collective intelligence, that innate intelligence that's, keeping our body healthy, how does it help the whole body of humanity self-organize and be healthy? We heard that interoperability and sovereignty call from Cardano, and we want to carry that forward. We're setting up our base here. We're also setting up bases in other chains so that we can be a gathering of the tribes, gathering of the nations, gathering of the chains to ensure a decentralized future.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. We have the first speaker up here. Kevin, you want to take it on?
Sure. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, first kind of question I've got is just kind of for the gamers out there, like mechanically, foundationally, is the game going to be kind of based, or the sovereigns, are there going to be like a leveling system, a crafting system, like a food and water system? Just to try to wrap my brain around how this game is going to mechanically kind of work.
So that's a great question, Kevin. And, I think we're all going to have a different answer to it. What I'm getting right now in my understanding is where the game is now. All right, what is happening right now with the game? It's already in motion. We're here. This is it. We're actually in it already. And so the way I understand the NFT space is each of those NFTs is a pathway that you can take in the game. Each of those characters is capable of aligning with a clan or making a choice of any clan that they want to be in. And so as a result, you have a little more freedom between one NFT or the other. And so what I see is this: we're dealing with, it's also a metaphor, right? And I want to speak a little bit also to Jane. I really had a good question. Thanks for coming, Jane. She sent me a question about, a more basic level of Mandala Metaverse. Where can they find info, website, and things like that, right? So right now, what is available is enterthemandala.io. That's a website. You can learn more about the project. There is also a blueprint that's there. Highly suggest looking at the blueprint if you really the blueprint is the fastest way for you to get to a yes or no, in your own self, if this is for you or not. All right. I think it does a very good job of exposing what this is all about and what its ambitions are and where it is practically also. So I hope that answers some of your questions, Jane. There is a Discord server. The community's building, right? Just like they always do. There's a real organic, natural resonance that a lot of people have. They're just real curious, right? They see the animals, they see the people, they understand the story, they follow the blueprint. And so they realize that they're at the beginning of building a community that is attempting to build a game space that also helps essentially save the world, right? That's always what's up now more than ever. So the NFT is your identity in a sense in a game, and each of the NFTs can either be traded with others, right? Some people want what you have and vice versa. And in other cases, it's also another character that you can play. You're not limited to playing one. You can play multiple characters if you want, right? You can even probably form your own tribe. So, there's all these opportunities to really leverage what the game is bringing us in terms of a vehicle for us to learn more about ourselves and for us to be able to start to take on the task of making sure that the next 7 generations are here with us. So yes, NFTs are being sold, Jane. That's one of Jane's questions. I gave you the answer for website, also the Discord channels there as well. And if you have any more, Jane, please let us know. And don't be afraid to come up if you want to. If you can ask the question here. I see you here with us now. So happy to hear more from you.
But Kevin, to address your question a little more, as we move down the road here, there is a progression of the technology and the cross chains and the interoperability, and you'll see this conversation happening in almost any company now talking about games in the metaverse, right? There's going to be walled off sections, but everybody's trying to figure out, will there be a standard and will we be able to cross game, one character into another game and all that. So that aside, we're not going to invent any new game mechanics per se. So yes, the MMO will play like other MMOs. I think there will be a different motivation for what you're doing there and how it will work. But it's going to be very similar to pre-existing games. Like I said, we're not going to reinvent a whole game engine here, and we're not going to, but there will be layers to the game that you probably will not have experienced before. As per water, and I can't remember how else you described it, but I can't remember the last time I had water in a game. But right, John's gonna jump in.
I'll jump in. I would say as a rubric overall, Kevin, to think about where the MMO is going to be. I'll just back up and say that first, there's going to be, since the mobile game is going to take less time, and this is all budget dependent and how quickly we accelerate everything, and part of what we're doing is everything at once, because we've written seasons of television series, we've written and designed the games to be interlocking, and the comic books and all the content to play together. So that said, the mobile game is going to be a geolocation AR based game. You could think of a game like Pokemon Go or Wizards Unite that Warner Brothers did on top of Niantic's system, which uses Google Maps. And so the way we're using that in just a vein, just to give you a feel for it, is that, there's sacred sites around the world, and then there's dragon lines or ley lines that connect all of those sacred sites up. And so anywhere you go in that Google map on your phone, anywhere you live, it's all going to be connected up into this, these vertices and these grid points and these sacred sites. That's essentially the flow of the consciousness of the planet Earth. And so that's a lot of what the gameplay is going to take place around. And so when we get into the MMO, they're going to be battle arenas for guild versus guild, player versus player type gameplay, like Kevin's saying, that we're not going to reinvent the gameplay style. But there will be crafting. So to your point, there will be certain things of crafting, and we're working on the tokenomic side of all that and how that's all going to work currently and in some of the papers that we're writing.
Well, thanks. I really appreciate the answer. That's awesome. This is why I own so many of this. Awesome. Our pleasure. It's good to see the lion.
Get more, buy more NFTs, friends.
If I may ask regarding the the clan app that you're building, and if you want to tell us a little bit about that and how are the SPOs in getting involved, and just give us a nice review and what's coming up.
I'll take that one. So the clan app, we're starting this one off with a core group of SPOs that we found that had like the same tone that we're trying to set with launching this app, and it's a gamified way of building up delegation. So it starts with just delegating to a clan pool, and that's aligned with one of the 12 clans, and you're going to receive like your normal ADA rewards as you would staking or delegating to any pool, and then you're also going to be receiving the Mandala token rewards. And then on top of that, there's the NFT staking part of it. So for anyone that's holding NFTs, they're going to be getting Mandala token rewards as well. And then the other part of this is the clan missions that you can take part in, also receiving more Mandala token rewards. And then there's like the DeFi, like cross-chain aspect that we're still working on right now.
That's so awesome. I'm so excited. I did see, guys, a little bit of a screenshot, and what I'll tell the SPOs is be ready. Right, you're going to get some really nice exposure as a pool to your mission, to why you're here, through your logo, and some performance about your pool right on that app. People are going to be seeing us, and we're going to see a lot of activity moving within the ecosystem. The stake is just going to naturally want to come over to our pools, right? That's you know how it is. It's the merry-go-round. So our time comes, and we're building that now. I know that Nguyen had a question, so I just want to bring you up.
And I just want to add, like, one of the reasons I'm super excited about this clan app is because most of the people I meet, just like out in public, when I tell them about crypto, it's kind of hard to explain, and nobody really wants to, like, I mean, not nobody, but I mean, most of the people I talk to, like, it's like a rabbit hole, right? So we're like very enthusiastic about this, us like in the Twitter space, but most people, they're not gonna like do that, especially younger. Like at least the people I'm talking to, and I want to have something where I could just show them this app that's really cool, and it's gamified, and it holds your hand and takes you through the process and gets you right into it. So that's one of the reasons I'm super excited about this.
Thank you, Ron. That's so spot on. I think it's Kevin here again. Sorry. That's spot on. And that's a big thing we're trying to do is we're trying to reach out to the people outside of all of this and bring them in, because it has the potential to change their lives. And if we can do it in that manner, like you're saying, make it easier to understand, make it fun, make it even something to play at first. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
So thank you for nailing that. That was awesome.
Yep. That's awesome. Yeah, I want to say something to that, but I want to hear from you, Em. How you doing?
Hey, man. It's good to see you guys. First of all, I just came from another space right now where they're talking metaverse. It's non-Cardano, and I just need to tell you all, it's very appreciative to see people who are thinking first before they start doing stuff. It's a nice change of pace, because I literally heard, and I quote, it's the same person who did the Snoop Dogg NFT drops, and I quote, yeah, we're just recklessly breaking things, end quote. And it just made me cringe a little bit on the inside. So I appreciate what y'all are doing. I did have a couple questions, and this is kind of from the other space. Have we all considered, just kind of, this is a little existential, so I apologize, but when we're talking metaverse, I've heard people, and I just had a conversation today, they go, are we a part of the metaverse, or is the metaverse separate from us? And they were literally talking about this via IP rights, because they were like, in contracts, it literally says the universe in some music contracts. It's bizarre, it's comical, but it brought up a point of going, what is that going to mean? And so I don't know about you, but I feel like we're coalescing, and I would love your thoughts on this, because this is y'all's thought space. I feel like what we're seeing, like with cornucopias and then other meta projects, et cetera, to me, all of these separate things, they all feel like part of one concatenated space, right? So, and in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, the metaverse already exists. We look at it through our phone screen right now, and now we're just developing new ways to interact, and it's growing and evolving. But are you seeing that the different, quote, metaverse projects that are building different worlds, essentially, are we viewing those as kind of separate nation states that are going to have their own set of rules and laws? That's kind of where my head is going when I'm seeing
No,
the
this
trajectory of
is this is awesome, and you're nailing it. You kind of missed a little bit about, I think if you just got here, we talked a little bit about that earlier, but we're living in the metaverse. Absolutely. I mean, it's here. And not only that, let's say we then build some stuff for the, whatever we want to call this, the metaverse, then you're still in, I mean, look out your window. You're still in the metaverse. That's the metaverse. This whole thing is, and that's, and it's also all a game. And if we have a place now where we can sort of coalesce some of those concepts and ideas, and I love that you phrased it, we almost always have to sort of either apologize or justify by saying, oh, I'm going to get existential here. No, don't. Just go for it, man. And, that's the point of all this, isn't it? And if we can get people to play a game, to start questioning that reality of the reality around them and the reality of the game and where does it cross over, that's the whole point of all of this. And, look, I recklessly broke myself years ago. So now here we go. Let's go. Have fun, man.
No, I am late to the space. I apologize if you guys.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good.
No, I'm running into that right now, especially with our music side of things. It's like, where does the legalese of the physical realm, quote, that we assume is base reality, right? Where does that start and stop, and how does that interact with the different, I'm going to call them nation states of the corporate metaverse, which is all things digital that we interact with through different mediums at this point, right? And I'm curious as to where we, or you guys as thought leaders in that particular subset of the space, see that trajectory going, at least from the legal side and jurisdictions, and what is this going to look like? Because I know we're going to have DAOs, right? So do we need?
No, that's
judges?
interesting, because that's something so when I first and I go way back, minting some Bitcoin way back in the day in different ways. And it wasn't until the smart contract got into it, or the blockchain got into it, that I actually, and I'm talking early on here when I was talking to some people about it, for me, that was going to change copyright forever, because copyright's a very broken system. It's a mess. Legally, it's ridiculous. The whole, I mean, I can't tell you how many projects that I created are now owned by some studio, and it's in their library because of some intellectual property ownership, blah, blah, blah. And now we're talking about something completely different here. We're talking about people being able to create things, and they will then continually own those things, and it will be tracked on a ledger. And if we still have to go back to that system of a ledger, fine. I'd rather do it like this. And everything's going to change. I wish I could give you a crystal ball and say this is how it will change, but I just know this: it's going to be better for everybody, and we just need a little bit more time and a few more years. Interoperability is key here. I think anybody who's creating anything now, you're so far ahead of me creating things 20, 30 years ago. So you're all really lucky, and this is going to be incredibly awesome as long as the corporations don't get their hands on it again.
Well, I was about to say, I feel like the blockchain, right, in and of itself, just that concept of an immutable ledger, it's going to kind of make historians null and void. And also it's going to help, in my opinion, if we can have true data that's not corrupt, right, then we can have an untainted picture of what the history of the evolution of this space is going to actually look like.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and I'll jump in. This is John here again. And so why we chose to name the first NFTs that we're doing sovereigns is because, as everyone here well knows, we need these self-sovereign identities as we migrate into this new world. And there's a company that we're working with that we can't really say much about, but they're highly technical, experienced people that are working to ensure that we, through the partnership with us and the sovereigns, and then as we start to accumulate more data and move into a more robust expression of ourselves in this digital dimension, that we're in control of our data and the permissions of what we share, and that we can communicate with one another in a way that's safe and private and between us and secure, in addition to being able to do transactions in that fashion. And so we're kind of building it with these NFTs inside out to create and to scale what needs to be, an interlocking hub of decentralization. And so, like Kevin said, we're building it, and it starts with our sovereignty. And then I'll just indulge me for 1 second to get a little bit metaphysical as well, in the sense that we often say, the Matrix gave everybody a mythology that we were batteries, in this being fed, feeding these other creatures, and we were stuck in this simulation, or are we in the simulation? But what if consciousness is the substrate of all of matter, and that this universe that we're in is actually the metaverse that's self-conscious, and we can become self-conscious to work with and co-create the best outcome of that simulation in a way that is reflected in the technology that we're using, but also, most importantly, back into the real meat space and world that we're stewarding.
Okay, I have to tell you, I literally had a conversation with a non-crypto person who had some working knowledge of what the metaverse is, and mentioning the fact of, if we as sentient beings can create a product that makes us question, is this real or CGI? And we blur those lines, and we can do that. That increases the probability that we are not in base reality exponentially, right? Just to follow you down that existential trail. And so, to me, I find that completely fascinating. And I'm just very curious to see, how we as a species, creating these new, quote, metaverses, these new worlds within worlds, how we're going to limit ourselves and our creativity, and then how we're going to also free ourselves. Just prime example, landlocking a virtual world. Why would you do that? I could think of a couple reasons, some of them nefarious, to create scarcity, right? But then I can think of other things that are, that we could use them for great good. I'm just very curious to see how we're going to really tie in what we interact and how we perceive the world around us right now, and how we're going to transfer that into these new spaces that we're creating for us to interact with. It's very fascinating to me, and I don't know if anybody really has the answer, but it's just fun to think about that as a thought experiment.
I think it's up to us to come up with those answers, and it starts with questions like these. And I love what you're talking about. It's something I think way too much about. But we are going to have to create these answers, and we have to do it before some other entities, huge corporations, whatever, start coming up with the answers for us. And everybody just goes, oh, okay, I guess that's how it goes. Yeah. It really is. It's up to us, and we're trying hard here. We really are. We're trying to get a mass reach. We're trying to get enough people to actually start doing it a different way, where they're either going to have to go, we're going to let that happen, or we're going to have to really clamp it down. And that's when we're really going to have to try harder. So keep asking these questions, keep thinking about it. I'm with you about the whole virtual reality, real estate that we're just going to replicate all over again. There is no scarcity. You can make as much as you want until they decide there is scarcity, and they put the borders back up in the virtual world. And, it's up to us to not do this. So
right,
that's what we're doing our part. We're trying our part. We're going to build it in a different way here, and let you be sovereign in a world that is your identity into this new thing, and hopefully bring that identity back out, find out who you are through this experience, and then go back out into the world with that.
I'm going to shut up after I say this, and this is just because this is all on my mind right now. I think this is going to make DIDs super important, because if you look at people right now, you'll have content creators who have a pseudo identity on the creation side of things, but in the quote real world, they're a different person, right? And bridging that gap and having that DID that can follow and be there, right, to follow them through the different areas and spaces. That to me is going to be, I feel like we need to spend some bandwidth really getting that to an accepted state, right? Because we have the tech for it, but at the end of the day, it only works if everybody agrees to use it. So
agreed. Agreed. That's something we're definitely focusing on. And then one other metaphysical bit about that with respect to Mandala, which is, as an enlightenment simulator, we're inviting people's DIDs and NFTs and game characters to be their identity that they want, their higher self or their mythical self, or the dream within themselves that they can materialize in a digital dimension so that they can realize that in actuality in the simulation that appears to be the world that we're in.
Yeah. Yeah, the simulation of it, for anybody who's listening, if you have questions, because there are two terms that come up a lot in these discussions, right, that we're having here. One is enlightenment. What is enlightenment? And the other one is sovereignty. These are terms that are thrown around a lot, right, in a lot of different kinds of discussions. So, I want to make sure that what those things mean to us is clear for all of you. So if anyone has any questions around that, please ask. Yeah, man, how about Theodore, what are you feeling from this discussion right now? How are you feeling about where we're at with this?
Yeah, I've got to say that this is a great conversation. I really love, the path that we're following. I'm just gonna get a little bit more practical, if you don't mind, and ask you the question about,
Sure.
what's the next step, and what should we wait in the next few weeks or days or months? What should we be looking out for?
So actually, this Saturday at our normal Spakra public meeting hour, 1600 UTC, we're gonna send out an announcement for all the core SPOs, like the Mandala clan SPOs. We're gonna have an update meeting this Saturday, and then we're anticipating having a beta version that we can share with the SPOs within the next couple weeks. It won't be. I mean, we could probably share screenshots and stuff this Saturday, but the app itself isn't demoable 100% yet. But within the next couple weeks, and then there is another big piece that we're finalizing, which is the tokenomics, which I think is the most important part before we release the actual app. So that let's see. When do we think that one we can release?
Yeah, so we're gonna finalize some things on the tokenomics level, and then there's going to be a token event, let's say, and that's going to precede the app, and so we'll be saying more about that in the next couple of weeks.
That's awesome. And for those of you, I know for myself, one of my big curiosities with this project was tokenomics, right? What kind of token is this going to be? What kind of incentives? What kind of rewards? What kind of value are we building? And how's that going to be perceived by the markets? And I love so far what I'm seeing in the team. The conversation, the way it's going, that everything like Nguyen said, we're actually giving this thought. We're not just aping into all of this and just trying to make a buck. We're this is a long-term sustainable project. And so they're looking at not only what that means for Cardano, but what that means to have a token that is capable of moving between chains, right? So making sure the policies are built right, and the distribution is right. So far, what I'm seeing is there's a lot of thought going into that. It's a very elegant solution that also addresses future legality concerns and possibilities as well. So I was really happy to see some of those things, and I think as they crystallize that over the next, couple of weeks, that will really set into motion more momentum in the app as well, because those are going to come together. And it'll be made clear as the next couple of weeks progress what that actually really looks like. And I'll be curious to see what the community feels and what your feedback is, and to even be in a place where we have that loop, right? That's what I love about these Twitter spaces, is what an incredible feedback loop we have here. We can ask each other questions. We can say, no, yes, that feels good, I don't like that, and really respond and be here for each other. So I definitely appreciate all you guys for here and curious. I see Kaizen. You must have a question, Kaizen. Come on.
Kaizen spitting the truth. Come on, Pritesh, get up here, dude. Oh, hey, side note, I'm going to throw this out there. Just to let y'all know, whenever Pritesh comes to visit me in Nashville, we'll throw a YouTube live so we can all hang out. It'll be like a real world-ish kind of hangout.
Yeah, I mean, yes. He's coming up.
There he is. There he is. Guys, and welcome.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Yeah, I'm just enjoying the conversation, guys. Don't mind me.
What's up, Pritesh?
What's up, man?
What's happening, man? I know we went deep in Wyoming. I swear, I met Pritesh. I'm like, man, this guy in person is amazing. It's just big, beautiful heart, warm, open, just cares, man. A lot of people learned about Cardano through you and your show and what you do. Your education platform is awesome. So I saw it today, in a couple of meetings that we had here with the team. I'm like, at the end of the day, it's always the same thing. The projects that put energy and heart into education, take people off exchanges, decentralize, all the simple stuff that we already know, Amanda knows really well, just getting people into the conversation of what sovereignty is really about and how important it is to protect something that is being attacked, right? Our freedom slowly eroding from underneath us. So it's something worth protecting. And I think that's another thing that Mandala does. It's out there to make sure that we're not losing the basic freedoms of being a human being on this planet, right? People are not telling us how to live. We're self-determining that. And there's a lot of loss of self-determination happening. And I think this is a real swim upstream here, right? This is a real force that is an antagonist to that, and making sure that there's always a balance between light and dark, and that there's more light than dark. That's what I know I'm going for personally. That's what I feel the project is going for. So, yeah.
Ray, you're just as eloquent digitally as you were in person in Wyoming. I'm just telling you, man.
Thanks, man.
You're spitting it, man.
And his hugs are legendary. Just gotta say,
They are. That is a true statement.
And I'll
that
tip
video
my hat
on his
to
YouTube
Kaizen.
channel will show it.
I was gonna say I'll tip my hat to Kaizen as well, because this is he taught me a lot about the Cardano space. So thank you.
Oh man, you guys are too kind. No, I appreciate that. Guys, I'm enjoying just listening to what you have to say about this project, because I really do feel like the metaverse and enlightenment and all these things that we're talking about, self-sovereignty, it's so important. And the Mandela Project, I feel like, has all those things, and we're talking about that. So I'm here just learning and absorbing as much as possible. A question that I have, and I'm not sure who is best to answer this, but as far as the SPOs, like I want to learn how does that tie into the project, and we're talking about different ways to incentivize people to get into this ecosystem. So what does that look like exactly?
I really want to say something, but I really love Ron's perspective on this too, and I gotta go. I gotta go pee real quick. So if Ron can answer that, it'd be perfect.
definitely. So have you looked at the different clans? There's 12 clans that we have. So like Chef has already aligned with Butterfly because of how he identifies and expresses himself, and I've identified with Windhorse because of how I want to progress through my spiritual journey, and then share that with my community. So the way that I see this for SPOs is that you can take your pool mission and align that with the clan that you're representing, and that's a way to really connect with your delegator base. So other people that also align with a certain clan would most likely want to delegate to a pool that's representing that clan. So it's it's a way for people to come in and earn more token rewards that are going to be used in game. And then like it's kind of like building up like loyalty with your delegator base. So like the next like ISPO that comes out, they're not going to just like rush over there because they're going to earn some other token rewards. Like they're going to stay with the clan that they've aligned with. So that's kind of how I see it.
Okay, yeah, I really resonate with that. Thanks for explaining it so well, because that's what I'm seeing a lot right now is just how does the ecosystem change now with all these ISPOs, right? I think in terms of how a delegator looks at being a part of the ecosystem, they're saying, well, okay, I hold ADA, but then what other advantages are there for me as somebody who wants to support the network? So I'm just really trying to learn as much as possible about what that actually looks like for us. But I think that this project has a lot of opportunities. I mean, just to think about, I'm so curious and I'm so fascinated about gaming and metaverse and all that kind of stuff. You guys already know what some of the things are that I'm working on, but I don't want to take that up in this space. I think that Mandala has a really unique opportunity in this sense, because when you think about the metaverse, it's really like an alternate reality, but then it is reality in that sense. So I just, I'm really fascinated by the topic, and yeah, thank you guys. Just incredible. I'm super excited to learn more.
Most definitely. Yeah. Thanks for the question.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll add one thing, Ron. Two things actually. The revolution will not be incentivized. That I'm sure of. And the missions and the sort of, like you're saying, the clans and what they're about, that also has a huge part of beginning the narrative for our audience, because within the game itself and within the graphic novel and TV show and the other pieces, you'll start to see how those sort of different clans and different characteristics of people will play through this entire game we're playing, and it is a game all around us all the time. And I think it helps if you're trying to attract people to these, stake pools, that is really a great way to do it when they have a reason to be there, and then there's a story backing it that they feel really directly related to. So we're trying to help do that.
Yeah, and I'll just add real quick on that score that, so our job, we feel, is to help the non-crypto folks find this door and also give back to the network, like Ray was saying, in terms of, we recognized early on that the heartbeat of the network are the stake pool operators, and especially what resonated, like we said in the beginning, around Cardano being principle based and actually thinking about others in the whole, and seeing that all these beautiful SPOs are connected to something, their own financial freedom, and also entrepreneurially, which is awesome, and then also doing something for others in specific ways. And so for us, it was a perfect marriage between, how do we help the delegation grow, bring new people, and also allow the self-organization of the SBOs to be collaborative and to be co-sustainable and supportive of one another. And that's why we don't have any stake pools or anything that are Mandala based at all. That's not our lane. We're here to amplify the signal to more people to come into crypto for what it can be used for the benefit of the humans.
Yeah, and on a practical level too, it was really in my own experience when I started interacting with SundaySwap as a DEX, right? To use a more practical example, right? We got these tokens that you're going to be earning as a result of being staked to this pool. They're in this game, this building that is building across multiple chains. So, and we know that a lot of the chains that they're building across and with also have DEXs. So all of a sudden, we have a potential to move a token that is here and has value to another ecosystem that it may have more or less value in, right? So these bridges are being built, and there's going to be yield farming. There's going to be all kinds of opportunities for being able to build value also just from good old crypto perspective, right? People who love to come and trade, find early value in something amazing. Each DEX right now that I've interacted with, MinSwap and SundaySwap, are capable of actually creating liquidity pools with what you give to it, what you want to make it, and the value that you want to give it. And before you know it, there's swaps happening, and there's LP tokens happening, and there's a potential for yield farming in your pair. So there's this really practical level that's also here with DeFi, and the fact that we are now able to gamify it, right? Earn tokens through a gameplay that is actually here with real world coordinates to do something really amazing in the world, and also be able to provide you with abundance, right? With financial reserve, with financial sustenance, and with financial strength, so that you can make those choices and serve those communities that you care about in the world too. So, you know, being able to see that there's the stake pool business aspect of this, clan staking, there's Mandala does staking, and the Mandala tokens that drop with staking. You know, for a lot of us, we've seen it for the last 2 years. We see that, you know, the reserves eventually run out, and all of the rewards for pools and their delegators come from the fees of transaction volume. We have to have transaction volume. So that's also very important. And I think, you know, from 6% ROS right down to 4.5%, 5%, where the average is now, that's going to keep creeping down until it finds its base and maybe even come up. Maybe we can change tax, right? We can get out of the 20% and move ourselves and move more of those funds into delegation. I think that a lot of what these projects are doing also is they're incentivizing stake. We're proof of stake. That delegation is everything to this ecosystem. There always has to be something that is incentivizing participation, inclusion, and long-term storage and long-term value. So projects like Mandala and others that are providing you with another reason to be staked into a pool, right? Another reason for you to be included in part of something that is here to sustain the network, right? So there's already all this attention on the roots, right? The big great trees that grow and give shade and life and diversity to this world and give us, you know, oxygen to breathe. They're also part of an ecosystem that creates diversity. Their roots have to be taken care of. If they're not, the tree dies and there's nothing else. So building through infrastructure, in our case, those roots, that's us. Those are the SPOs. That's IOG. That's developers, builders, coders, engineers, everybody who's here to make sure that layer one is awesome, right? And I know in the time that I've been here, what I can say about layer one is over 25 million transactions over 4 years and not a single day of downtime. Not a single day of downtime. That is something that you can build on and rely on. might not always be fast, but we know it's going to speed up. But what we do know is no matter what, this thing runs. It runs, and it stores the value, and it creates an experience that is unbelievable. It's a real revolution, especially with the forces in the world. So, yeah, just want to open up to any other questions anybody has. I know we've been here for an hour. Chef, how long you want to go for? You want to go for longer?
That's I was going to say that I don't mind going for longer as long as you know, there's people in the audience that would like to ask any questions. I haven't seen any requests. We only had Kevin and our friend New Maestro. So yeah, if there's anybody else that would like to come up and ask, feel free. Or if Kevin has any other questions, Kaizen, anybody else, feel free to ask.
Yeah, so this isn't more of a question as it is just kind of a comment that maybe you guys could just highlight. So I actually got the comic and I was thumbing through it, or I should say scrolling through it, and I saw that humans might actually have the capability, the NFTs, the sovereigns, that they can evolve to higher planes of, like, they can evolve from a human to like a light walker or something. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so in the storyline, just broadly for everybody, the basic storyline is that there's humans that are activating their latent DNA and evolving to the next, taking another evolutionary leap, and that's possible for everybody. But there's forces that are, trying to prevent that through technology and also psychic forces. So it's a multi-dimensional story. So in terms of the NFTs being kind of evolving, and you mentioned the light walkers represent in the NFT side of thing that there's another dimension that we can wake up into, and I won't give away the story too much more than that. And then we don't go anywhere else. We actually just reawaken at a different level here and now. And so the people that wake up at that level that are activating their DNA in that regard become light walkers. And so as far as the NFTs transforming, this is more of a imaginative level that we're engaging people in terms of the construction of identity and how we can evolve. So it's not going to be exactly that the NFT evolves as much as that the storyline evolves, and our ability to become who we want to become also evolves. But there will be functionality along the way that ultimately is realized in creating an Unreal Engine avatar character for the MMO.
Thank you so much, John. We're gonna go with New Maestro and then Blue Collar Crypto.
In reference to interoperability, are you guys thinking about going like the Milkomina route or doing wrapped assets for the cross-chain interoperability, or what are you guys thinking as far as that goes? Or have you given that much thought? I know that's later down the road.
That's exactly what we're using. Yes. And
Gotcha.
I think that it might be there might be more interoperability in the future, but like from the get-go, yeah, it's we're looking at having the ability for Cardano native assets to be wrapped and then used for some of the other DeFi protocols that we're working on, like that are EVM based.
So are we kind of thinking in a in a weird kind of way? Are we going to use the Milkomina to go from ADA to a wrapped ERC20 token, and then we can go from an ERC20 through a bridge to like a layer 2 like Polygon? Are we thinking that we could do like a wrapped within a wrapped asset? Is that a potential thing that we're seeing?
Wrapped within a wrap. Possibly. I don't know if,
it's something I have to have an answer. I literally just thought about that.
Yeah, there.
I can jump in. Oh, go ahead, Ren.
Yeah, go ahead. No. Ron.
Oh, I was just going to say, that's the essence of it. We want it to be liquid. We want there to be flow. We want there to be, let me be lyrical. We want rainbow bridges in between all the chains. We want to travel back and forth from the Ethereum ecosystem into Cardano ecosystem into Polkadot ecosystem. We want to build bridges in whatever way is most efficient in using what, the genius developers like, Muhammad is doing, et cetera. We want to use the best that people are developing so that we can create that circulation and that flow.
Yeah, I think once you wrap it and it's like ERC20 based, then you can use like the other bridges that already exist within like the Ethereum space. So I don't know if we'd have to like wrap a wrapped asset. Possibly though.
Okay, good to know. Just food for thought. So I guess if theoretically there would only be one direction. So like if you wanted to get from ADA to like Polygon, right? You would, or ADA to Phantom or whatever, you would have to go, right? So ERC20 and then their bridge, right? Or at least Polygon. And then you couldn't go straight from Polygon back to ADA. You have to go backwards down the same trajectory you went to get there in the first place, right? I don't think we have any solutions yet for true, like, we can hop from this to this without a bridge to get there. I don't think they've come up with a protocol for that yet.
I think that's like the ERC20 converter that we're all waiting on. So,
thank you, New Maestro. Blue Collar Crypto.
Hey guys, what's going on? First off, huge fan of everything you guys got going on. But I guess I don't really know how to explain much of the project. And I think like what you guys are doing with the SPOs is awesome. And I think you guys have really connected well with the SBOs. But I'm struggling like getting the community involved because I feel like it's such a good project that's kind of like being unintentionally hidden because it's hard for, I don't want to call it shilling or whatnot, but it's hard to kind of explain it out when I tell people like, they're like, oh, cool. You know, what's the game? And I'm like, I don't know. They're like, what's the app? And I'm like, I'm not sure. Like, it's all going to be really awesome stuff, I'm sure, but I don't really know how to explain anything. So I guess is what I'm asking is how would you recommend kind of like this 60-second elevator pitch to somebody in a real non-technical kind of broken down way? Someone who's not super deep into crypto, doesn't maybe understand all the technicalities and ins and outs of blockchain. Like, how do we sell? How do I sell them on the project, or how do I explain it to them?
It's or go ahead if you want, Kevin. I was just gonna say it's funny because we were just talking about this earlier in our team meeting.
So welcome to my world, by the way. When I go have to pitch, the head of a studio with this thing, we've kind of figured out ways to do it for different audiences. But if you hold tight for a little bit, we're going to hopefully have some kind of materials and some kind of stuff to help you do that. But you're right. It's we're trying to explain a lot here in that's above a lot of people's imaginations, I think, in some ways. And then you add crypto, and then you add the interoperability of crypto that we just talked about. Most people would have no clue what you're talking about, wrapping, ERC20, like that, but you've just lost everybody. So we are working right now on a way to give you all some way to sort of help tell the story to people a little bit better. And it's coming. It's coming.
Like, for instance, we're ideating a video that's narrative based that would help people get a wallet, for instance, things like that.
But I mean, we are gonna create some like bite-sized video content that can be used to really, like, just in a nutshell, like, what is this project and how can people get involved and what is it?
I could probably help with that. That's right up my alley, guys. I got you.
Who is that? Who's talking?
That's that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right. Because we are approaching it, like John said, we're approaching it with sort of where do they come in and what's the touch point, and if it's the wallet first that we're finding most people have to deal with, and then getting into ADA. Like, selling NFTs was tricky because I even had to explain to a bunch of people how to do it to get it through ADA, right? That was a trickier thing than some people had been already well aware of in other communities, whether it was, Bitcoin or ETH or whatever. So that was already a hurdle. But so we're going to have to, I look at the wallet as the first big hurdle for people who are absolutely non-crypto, after you've explained that crypto is not the most evil thing in the world. Thank you, media out there. And once we can, so we're working on that. So let's talk. I mean, we're collaborators, man. Come and help us. Whoever said they could help us. Who was that, Kaizen?
That was Kaizen, yeah.
Yeah, let's talk, man.
Yeah, for sure.
We need your help. Because I think a lot of you have done a great job of already messaging that stuff. And we're only going to probably borrow what you've done anyway. So let's chat.
Yeah, I would love to see like an overall overview and then kind of just a section breakdown. Like, here's kind of what the game is. Here's kind of the vision of the metaverse, the SPO model. Just kind of broken down in bite-sized pieces, so it's not so much taken in all at once, and you can individually section it off. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, cool. Well, like I said, we're doing that daily for every new meeting we have and it always depends on what their specialty is, right? And that's what we focus on. And now it's getting to be time to really focus on getting this new audience into both the crypto space, possibly into the NFT space, and then also into what may be eventually the metaverse space. But we've done this through the beginning. First it was sell a comic book to people, then it was sell a TV show to a studio and a movie or this. So we're pretty good at it now. Now it's the bigger audience and not such a specific target. So yeah, we need your help. Let's have a chat, man.
You guys are doing the same thing or running into the same issues that we are at Noom, right? Like, we're doing this for music. And so it's all about education, right? And I just like you guys, our target audience isn't crypto. It's not crypto people. It's the no coiners. It's the people that don't even need to really know they're interacting with the blockchain. And I feel like there's some potential collab there too, because metaverse and music studios and spaces, that needs to happen. So, and that needs to be accounted for from conception, not as an afterthought.
Hey, can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead,
Hey,
Empire.
I just wanted to speak on the level of like getting real about people in crypto and NFTs in general. And I've been involved since 2017. You know, a lot of people want to know what's in it for me. Like there's no game yet. You guys there's something coming in the future, but people that are just like, oh, how can I get involved? Let's be honest, people want to make money. That's why people buy Cardano. Of course, you love the technology. That's why people buy Ethereum. Yeah, we want to use it. We want to be able to jump multi-chain, and we want to be able. But most people enter it to make a dollar. If we're honest, when there's no game yet, we're really early with Mandala, like so early. But really, I mean, you guys that are pitching it and you guys that are involved really intimately, of course, you're heavily invested in this thing, right? Your time, your energy, your money. But for like the rest of us, the other 99%, it's we're just kind of sitting here like, okay, well, when it does come out in years, then we're going to be on ground zero with everybody else, yet we've been here from the beginning. So I think people that would like to get involved are like, well, how do I get involved? I buy an NFT. Is that it? So I was going back on what Blue Collar was saying. If that's your name, Blue Collar, that's all I see. Of like wanting to share this and see it grow, but at the same time, not really. I mean, showing a video is one thing, but like if I'm in early, like if you're in for the NFTs early on the Ethereum chain, it's like you're getting on a white list. And then you're in the Discord and they're giving you, alphas to help, to have your coins generate. But with this, at least right now, we're so early. I'm like, okay, so unless you're a stake pool operator or a developer or you've invested in this from ground zero, that's great. But the rest of us, which is the majority of us, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And, that's the beauty of, soon enough when this app drops, everybody's going to be able to, see that, realize that benefit both by, well, first I'll back up and say that the token generation event is going to be very exciting. And so that's a way for people to participate, and it's going to be very narrative based. And so we're going to have more about that soon. And that's where, Chef has been a really gracious host with us. He's had us before a number of times, and he's having us back. And this is where we have publicly like to share, what's coming, the alpha, if you will, like you said. And so, with the token, there's going to be a lot of opportunity. And then right on the heels of that, there's going to be a ton of opportunity for the staking of the NFTs and the tokens. So, and then it's just going to go from there. There's going to be, we have, since we've been developing and we're repurposing and redeploying a lot of this content cross media, there's a lot of things to come in the wake of that, on the heels of that. So like you said, we're really, really early. We appreciate everybody's patience. We're creating a container for those that catch the signal. And we've been blown away with, the quality of people that have shown up, and we appreciate the patience and your participation, and we're going to get there.
I would also add, we are keeping in mind like the early adopters and supporters, like who are like essentially going to become like the true OGs of this project, and they are going to be they're going to have like exclusive access to things and more rewards. So I think we just need to highlight that better and put that out for the people that are here right now.
Yeah, that's really important. That's really important. Yeah, to let the people know that are here, hey, look, when we have this together, there's going to be thousands of people, maybe more, that are joining in, but we're going to be part of that herd instead of being like, hey, you were here from the beginning, you were here. This is, and so there's got to be some way to reward that. Yeah.
100%.
Well, decentralized reality. I think you can also just to give a tool in your toolbox to help communicate that. You can just, I think, let them know, hey, your wallet, there's a history to your wallet address, right? And so we have a backlog, right? And so you can always just, point that out to people if they're trying to wonder, well, how can you really reward people that have been around? Like, how do you know, right? How do you verify? Well, I think you can, I think it's important to point stuff like that out to people who aren't fully aware, just to show the power of the tech that we're using. You know what I mean?
That's right. And plus the NFTs that, so the sovereigns that you're holding, I mean, that's also chronological and and how they've been minted. And then, so the people that are holding them now, they're also receiving airdrops into their wallet. So people that are holding those, that's also another way of indicating who is here early. So yeah, definitely.
Just a follow-up question, if I may, regarding the incentives for the people that are here right now, or the people that have joined already, or will join. How are we going to be for all the delegators to these SPOs and the pools? How are they going to be using the token? What's the utility behind it?
So right out the gate, the token can be used to redeem the comics that we have, and then also this token is going to be used to buy skins and gear in the game. I mean, that'll come later, but the other aspects of the utility for the token are using it in the DeFi application that we're working on. So that's yield farming.
Yeah, so to the other gentleman's point just before that, we're ramping up the power of DeFi by bringing in the cross-chain capability with this token, right? So that some of the robustness of the DeFi that's happening over in the Ethereum and layer 2 ecosystems, we want to bring that benefit now, and that's what Milko Meta provides, right? And at the same time, we want to invite people over to Cardano and experience the stability of the stake pool operators and putting and getting ADA and having stake in that fashion. So creating that two-way street.
I think we should also highlight too just the cost benefit of doing business on the Cardano blockchain. That just doesn't need to be underrated. I feel like we, as people in the space, in this particular chain, who have chosen to build a business model on top of this, we need to explain to people why it is we chose this chain, right? We didn't go to Binance Smart Chain because it's cheap, but centralized, and they can turn it off because they only have 20 validators, and CZ runs them all, right? We picked this chain because the cost meant it's cost efficient, and we have predictable fees. Right. And I think just as part of the education process with all of these projects, all of our projects, truly, we need to be not pontificating or preaching, but we do need to express why it is we chose the chain we chose. And I think that
when it's really, sorry to cut you off, when it's really successful, it won't matter because the masses won't care. They won't even need to know about Cardano or anything else. They'll just need to know it works. Right. No. So, yeah, for people into crypto, they're gonna want to know these things because how it's going to change as transactions increase. And people, for instance, people thought Avalanche, oh, it's so cheap and it's so fast. Yeah, once everybody jumped on there and they had massive amounts of transactions, they're like, oh, now it's a little slower. And now, but my point is for the masses, we're going to be successful in this space, not just Cardano, but the whole crypto space. When the user doesn't even know when you use Facebook or Google, you don't need to know what's going on behind it, how it all works. You just push the button, subscribe, all this stuff. Now for the hardcore, techies and the 1%, I call them, they're going to be stoked on this, right? They're going to know, well, we got the fastest. We know if we got lots of transactions, it's not going to bog down. It's not going to get corrupt. It's not going to have any bad actors. But what I see this is with Mandala and the whole space in general is this is going to be so massive that they won't even know. All they'll know is they're jumping on and using it, and it works. Right?
Thank you. That's our dream. That's my dream for sure. That's our dream, is that if we can accomplish that, and I'll be honest, it's a little hard right now in the space because we are taking meetings with everybody and trying to figure out how to sort of further that and speed it along. And we're the ones in the middle trying to, negotiate some of these, the tech, the business side, and the interoperability. I mean, we've taken meetings with everybody and we talk just like you just said. I agree with you 100%. When the user doesn't know, that's when it'll be the most successful. And we're getting there, man. We're trying. So keep pushing us. Keep pushing us, man, because this is all really good to hear this right now. It really is.
No, I completely agree with you on that. At Noom, we're doing the same thing, right? It's all about user experience. But I'm just more talking about, we're skipping a step, I think, right? We know what we want the end result to look like. Mass adoption. What does that really look like in practice? We get that. But what I'm talking about is that intermediary step of before the masses adopt it, they have to have something to adopt, right? So right now we're at the building phase. And there's a competition going on for talent in the building phase. And I was on a space a couple nights ago with people in the music industry. They're discussing Ethereum building on ETH, on the current ETH, not even a layer 2, and having to explain to them, that's not cost efficient, right? So I think we would do ourselves a disservice if we don't really point out to current builders right now, people that are going to be creating these projects and these products, hey, you need to be over here. Don't follow the VC pitch crap that they spread to you to go, oh yeah, it's so TPS, woo-hoo-hoo, not realizing what they're giving up, right? It's just Web 2.0 wrapped with a bow that says Web 3.0, and then they're charging exorbitant amounts of money for things. I feel like we have those of us, the 1%ers on this call, who understand the nuance and the difference. We need to have two target audiences. One, the mass consumers, which, yes, we don't talk crypto to them, we talk end user experience. But we as thought leaders have another responsibility, in my opinion, that we have another target group to tackle, and that is the other people who are making maybe less smart life choices to do things on OpenSea or other places because they have, quote, been told that's the place to go to do stuff. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Oh, no, you're nailing it. You are nailing it. And that's what I hate to say this, but you're doing it too, right? That's where John and I spent a good chunk of our day, is talking to a lot of those people. And like you said, explaining to them, well, that was a dumb place to do that, or that's not how it works, or, and then at the same time trying to go, okay, the rest of the day now is spent back on story. Because if we give people a really good story and they can click a button on a wallet and go do their thing, then we've done it. So we're all doing it. It's like watching you nailed it. It's like watching a huge building get built. One day you're going to be able to actually open the doors and go in it, but the rest of the time you just walk by on your way and look up and go, oh yeah, it's, it's progressing, it's happening, it's, whatever. You look through the holes in the construction site and you go, oh, that's fun, there's a bulldozer. But we're the ones doing this right now. And so, yeah, let's keep doing it. And you guys are inspiring me right now to keep going.
I hear you 100%. It's hard though to tell somebody not to launch their NFT on Ethereum when or jump on OpenSea when billions of dollars are running through there.
Yep.
And they can flip their NFT. And some people aren't. Some people are just in this, and we're going to have people that are flippers and people that are long holders, people that are really into that jump in and out. But it's very difficult to have somebody buy a NFT on Cardano. Where right now, I'm just saying right now, as we are right now.
Yeah,
honest.
we know that.
Right. So, I bought Cardano at 3 cents. Like I saw the tech from way back. I completely understood Charles' vision and whatever. But at the same time, what I learned is never marry your coin. Never marry it, because you never know what else is out there. Don't get so over-identified. I mean, that's what Mandala is all about. It's not identifying with the ego, right? Identifying.
Absolutely.
No, I'm with you. I hear you. I think there's one other big term that people should be using right now. And Mandala, I think with your vision, I think you're going to have this, but the term is staying power, right?
Yeah.
If I'm going to go and publish, right, a fractionalized IP rights on a blockchain, I need to make sure that 100 years down the road, those tokens are still going to be there, and they're still going to be around and representing my legal ownership of something. right? Just for you guys, right? Same thing. So, you know, hemp, I hear you. And yes, there is a lot of trash in the space. There's a lot of people that are here for a quick flip, and I get it. But I would challenge you to challenge them and say, okay, are you wanting this to be something that you can quote flex for like a week, or it's a fad? Or are you wanting something that you're going to, the equivalent of your grandchildren go, oh my God, my grandfather has this thing hanging on his digital wall, quote, right? And it still has value prop. And so, you know, I think that's just a tool that I use in my toolbox when I'm talking to other musicians, right? That are going, why shouldn't I just mint right now? Well, and I go, well, that's a really short-sighted thing. Do you want this to last for a week, or do you want it to last for the next decade or two? Right. And
No,
so
I
think
agree.
that's something we should point out.
I'm waiting for Blair Witch to go into public domain again for my kids. That'd be awesome. So I hear you. I'm in this space for exactly those reasons. Like I told you, I've sold so many projects to studios. I've given them the IP, and that copyright, you know, I mean, first of all, you can now re-up the copyright after it used to be an initial 50, 60, 70 years. Then Disney said, well, that's no good. Like, that's ridiculous. No one even lives that long if they created something. So I'm with you. This is game changing and ground, you know, but when OpenSea opens up and everybody sees that you can make $1 gajillion there, and they try it and then they don't, or they do, and then this is all what it shakes itself out, and we're here for the long run, and we're going to keep doing the right thing as best we can with the technology in front of us. We look ahead a little bit and see who's building stuff for even slightly ahead of what we're thinking, and does it match what we're trying to accomplish? And we're all doing it. And we're all doing it together. That's why being on a call like this with all of you, I'm not kidding. This is so awesome right now. Thank you.
It's very rejuvenating. I would agree.
I can definitely feel the energy in this room tonight. It's amazing. It's amazing that we could all come together and actually have this kind of conversations and inspire and brainstorm all together, and keep pushing the Mandala team to get to exactly where their imagination will take them. I know you guys have a great plan, and I know all these things that we've heard tonight. I think it's definitely gonna keep us going. Empire, great questions. Thank you so much. Is there anybody else that would like to add anything? We're running on 1.5 hours right now on this show. Please feel free to come on and ask your question. Anybody else that Ray, Ron, Kevin, John would like to, some final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to say one more thing.
I'll just say thank you, everybody. It is getting late, and I know everybody's on these crazy time zones, but I'd just like to say thanks. I'm there's days when I'm beat up and tired, and this just inspires me to keep going. So now I'll be up all night. So thank you, everybody.
Empire, didn't mean to interrupt you, man. Go ahead.
Oh, it's all good. I just want to say one more thing before I bail, and that is I'm on OpenSea. I'm into NFTs, and that doesn't stop me from keeping my eyes open all around. I'm really into historical NFTs, and I just want to remind you all that we're creating history right now. Mandala's creating history. It's new right now, but at some point this will be a historical moment, and so don't lose sight of that historical value that this will have, at some point. So bless.
No, I thank you for saying that, because I did this once in my life already with a project, and this one is going to be 100 times that one. So thank you. I hear you. And you're awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I think that we all have this responsibility to co-create what we want this to be, so it doesn't get co-opted and turned into something that we don't want. And it's very critical right now that we do that. And thank you, everybody. I really appreciate everybody here, and the energy was just awesome.
Chef,
thank you, Chef, for having us on again.
Yeah, Chef, thank you.
Yeah, it's blessed to be here with all of you. I learned so much from so many of you here. I'm here in some ways because you encouraged me early on when I wanted to give up. And here we are, coming up on 2 years together in this community, and so many more. So it's been a journey, and I think my takeaway from tonight, and from this day, these last few days, I'm just clearer. I understand this project better. I see that at least one of the things that it is seeking to accomplish is something that has been very important to me for a long time. And that is to make sure that there are places in this world that make this world a better world, beautiful, precious, and healing, and something that we can help sustain and be a part of for all these generations that are coming after us. This is an opportunity to play a game in crypto, meet new people, and save the world at the same time, truly. And the more I look at it, the more it's just, it's quite a commitment at the same time, right? This is also on the ground with people, and serving them and bringing them what they need when they need it, and all around. Right? So we've got the community here, I feel, that has the heartbeat for something like this. I've always seen Cardano have that heart. And so I'm just grateful for all of you guys who are here, who are already a part of this, who have already chosen their clan, and are ready to be a part of this. Keep talking to your friends, your family. Learn more about what this is, and if it resonates deeply with you, you have a whole community here that's ready to share and help you and support you in your journey.
I just want to publicly give my support to Ray. I think anything you get your hands in, that you give your okay to, that's a big green flag in my book. So
that means a lot, man. Thank you. And I know that trust that we build, that's the whole thing, right? As we move along here together, the coders and the developers and all those guys who are with us, listening to us and playing with us, are going to slowly be codifying us, our love, our relationships, how we relate to each other, so that we can have DAOs, so that we can actually have that governance. So we really are a decentralized global community. And being in this discussion is also about being in that code, which becomes the law. And so I think I just thank you all also. You're becoming part of the law of a great protocol that's being built to serve a lot of people on this planet. And I know that that's also happening at the same time. So thank you.
I just want to say really quick that on your point, Ray, this is exactly the platform to build the trust. That's why we're having these Twitter spaces. There's going to be more coming in the future. For sure, we're going to have lots of updates to give to everyone. I just want to give a quick shout out to Rob from Trek Pool that was with us earlier. I'm not sure if he's still with us. And Jamie as well from Dolphin Clan, and of course other more. But I just wanted to say really quick, the very first time that I heard John, he came on one of the first Twitter spaces that we had, and when he shared the vision with us, and then we had Ray and Ron giving us more information the week after, I just fell in love with the whole philosophy, the way that you're thinking, the way of you approach everything, the whole philosophy behind this project. And I really believe that this is why we're all here in Cardano, this community, and to grow it and to make it better. And I think Mandala will be a big part of this. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Chef. Thank you for having us. And you're always such a gracious host. And thank you to everybody that's been here. We feel your presence, and we can see these images, and we're together, and this is the metaverse, and just a lot of gratitude for each and every one of you and the space that you're holding, Chef. And so we hope to see you again soon.
Seriously, really appreciate it. And and thank you for shouting out to the SPOs that are here, that are going to be one of the Clan app, part of the Clan app launch. Really appreciate that.
Of course, and we'll have more of these spaces in the future, and we want to make sure that we will showcase all of our SPOs that are participating as well. Again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.
I love you guys. Good to see you.
Love you,
and peace. Love and peace.
Have a good night.
You too.